We're live on Instagram. And guess what? We're live on all the social channels. I'm excited. Hi, Instagram. Hello, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Buenos tardes, TikTok. How are we doing today? I'm excited to be here. I see people shuffling in. It's great to see you again. We're here. You asked for it. We're happy to answer any of your questions, any of your health questions. I'll even answer some sports questions. No political questions, but we'll answer all your health questions. We'll answer all your sports questions if you have any. Let me know where you're from. Love to see where you're from. I'm curious where you originated, where you're watching, things like that. But there's a little bit of a delay, so just give me about 10 or 15 seconds if you write where you're from. I will call it out. They'll let me know with TikTok and Instagram if anybody says where you are. Again, I'm excited. We've got TikTok. We've got all the Facebook, LinkedIn, and we've got Instagram. New Jersey. Oh, my God. Do I start with the New York and New Jersey jokes, or should we leave it alone for the day? Hello, New Jersey. I'm excited. We got a lot of questions. I picked 4 questions, so I'd like you all, if you have a question, feel free, write it in. We'll address it. We've got the team all here today. Anything goes. I'm excited once again. This is a lot of fun. So question number 1 was, let's get to it. Someone asked a real basic question, really good question, how to improve their immunity. And that's great. Everything always starts and begins with lifestyle and food. So you want to avoid certain foods. You've heard this acronym before, GPS. No gluten, no ultra-processed food, no added sugar. DNA, no dairy, no nicotine, and no artificial sweeteners. Now also add to it no vegetable oils or industrialized pressed seed oils. Really, really bad choice. And no deep fried foods. Try and follow what I like to refer to as an anti-inflammatory diet. If you do those 8 things that we mentioned just before, you're probably going to be in an anti-inflammatory status. You want to control your glycemic index and glycemic load. So you want to eat low glycemic index type of carbohydrates in food. You don't want to raise your blood sugar too much. Probably one of the worst things that you can do to damage your immune system or to weaken it is to eat a lot of sugar. It has been stated that 300 calories of sugar at one time weakens your immune system by 50% over a 2-hour period. You want to try and avoid food sensitivities. You really want to detect food sensitivities. Anybody who knows that walked into my office, I am really big on food sensitivities. So I like to test for food sensitivities. I want to detect them. I believe that food sensitivities are one of the reasons for chronic hidden inflammation. So food sensitivities, vastly different than food allergies and food intolerances. The team just gave me something on a food allergy versus food intolerance. A food intolerance is an enzymatic issue, kind of like you're not being able to digest lactose. A food allergy, which has, I think, 10% of the people going to the emergency room have a food allergy. It's something called an IgE antibody response. It's anaphylactic. You swell. You know you have it. You do not know that you have a food sensitivity. The reason is it takes up to 72 hours from the time that you ingest it to the time that the symptomology and the inflammation elevates. So you do want to detect and avoid food sensitivities, and you want to limit your environmental overloads. We're full of toxins. There's pollutants. They're in the offices where we go to work, where we even see doctor's office and sleep. The number one spot where most people will get a flame retardant or a toxin is a flame retardant in your mattress. Do you have flame retardants in your mattress? The answer is yes, unless you specifically ask for it, because U.S. government mandates it. So that would be the number one thing that I would change. Start getting flame retardant, non-flame retardant mattresses. We will have an affiliate code for somebody next week to share with everybody. Continuing with the idea of eating or making clean eating a priority, you want to eat more organic food and farm to fork. I have some acronyms I like to share. I'm big on wild fish, so I call it wild smash fish, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, and sardines and herring. A plant-forward, plant-based diet is really good. I'm a big believer about 75 to 80% plant-based, the rest being proteins, good quality fruits and vegetables, grass-fed, grass-finished meats, high-fiber foods, nuts and seeds, bone broth and chicken soup, mushrooms, and of course, really good choices of oils to cook with, like extra virgin olive oil being for me the number one choice of consumption, and a great one to cook at a very, very, very low flame. Also consider time restrictive eating. We did last week, we talked all about the time restrictive eating stuff in that. Okay, hold that up in a minute. I just got a question. Consider that time restrictive eating. I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting. I do believe that it has some caloric restriction, really good health outcomes, get sufficient sleep, 7 to 8 hours. There was a study that if you slept 8 hours, give me a second, I just want to reflect on the study. There was a study that if you slept 8 hours, you had an increase of 85% muscle mass of what you would lay down. Whereas if you slept 7 hours, that muscle mass, that 85% was switched to 85% fat. So 1 hour from 7 to 8 hours or 8 to 7 hours was actually very deleterious if you went down from 8 to 7 hours. Everybody, a home exercise plan, great choice. Chiropractic care, we need someone to go get a EVRL and a GVL in the other room, okay? Because there is a question. Modify your stress, support your immune system. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll let you guys go get those. And here's some immune support supplements, some vitamin C, zinc, mixed mushroom complex, vitamin D3 with K2, a good pre and probiotic, NAC, liposomal glutathione, selenium, omega-3 fatty acids, elderberry, and vitamin A, all really great choice. So one of the questions that we were asked is how to treat fatty liver, not alcohol related. Great choice. Well, the number one thing I'm going to say about treating non-alcoholic fatty liver, very simply, is going to be decrease your fructose intake. Decrease your glucose intake, because glucose gets turned into fructose, especially if you're dehydrated, a la Dr. Rick Johnson, their fructose expert. That's number one. And number two. Number three, I'm a big proponent of a spring and a fall cleaning. What do I mean by that? I'm a big proponent about a detox. Maybe in some of the upcoming lives or maybe some reels, if you're interested, we could talk about detox. We could talk about estrogen detox. We could talk about detox with gut protocols. So those would be my basic steps. We need one more. We need the EVRL. Okay, thank you so much. I'm being reminded, everybody tap on TikTok. Please tap, let everybody know that we're here. Let everybody know that you like us. Great, I got it. So as everybody knows, I use a lot of my lasers. Of course, I need you to correct that for me so I can look at the camera. Everybody knows I use a lot of lasers. I'm an Aconia guy, as they all know. I travel nationwide and international talking about lasers. So this was from my Dr. Rob's Mastermind Laser Group. They said, GVL is on the way. Great choice. I already have an EVL. What can I look forward to having the two of these? So number one, the EVRL, Aconia Violet Red Laser. So let me show you. Let me get it all geared up here. It'll be worth the wait, believe me. So it's a red and violet. It's a little hard to see the violet on the area. So they can see great. So you've got two lights. You got a 635 red light. You've got a 405 violet light. How exciting. The red light's got some great additional ideas in that the red light is good for mitochondrial activity. It has a prolific activity. It stimulates interleukin 10. Now, that's interesting in that interleukin 10, when it's stimulated, is very salubrious for the overall body. It's health promoting, whereas interleukin 10 also decreases, on the converse, interleukin 1 beta, interleukin 6, interleukin 8, and TNF alpha. So it stimulates the anti-inflammatory interleukins and downregulates the pro-inflammatory interleukins. 405, the violet light, allows for you to get rid of fibrotic tissues. It's really great for anything within the sympathetic nervous system, scar tissue. It's excellent for immunological reasons. And the new one, the green light, we're going to talk about is a reduction of pro-inflammatory mediators, and it's the biggest stimulator of stem cells. So interestingly enough, it's got a great autoimmune component. It's got a great immune component. So I use a lot of these in my functional medicine world for healing gut and healing the brain. So the violet light is great for viruses and bacteria. The green light is great for bacteria and fungi, and the red light is good for parasites. So what you can expect is to be able to do what I call stacking. You can take both of these and put them together, and you're going to get all three wavelengths together. So you're going to get a green, you're going to get a red, and you're going to get a violet. And they will enable you to light up the mitochondria. So there's 4 complexes in a mitochondria that you have to stimulate to get mitochondrial stimulation and get efficient production of ATP. Complex 1 and 2 is stimulated by the violet light. Complex 3 is stimulated by the green light, and complex 4 is stimulated by the red light. So when you get all 4, you get mitochondrial stimulation of ATP. What does that mean? Well, some of the biggest conditions that you have now that we are treating, or you guys out there are facing with mitochondrial dysfunction, many of which are neurodegenerative diseases, fatigue, and long COVID. So what you can expect from the utilization of both lasers is the ability to proliferate mitochondrial function. Did we get anybody else to call out or reach out as of yet? Terrific. Next question. It was a really interesting question. They talked about ferritin. What is ferritin, and what does it mean where ferritin, it's a blood marker, is elevated? Well, ferritin is a universal intracellular protein that stores iron and releases it in a controlled fashion. Ferritin level is directly related to the amount of iron stored in the body. High ferritin levels refer to swelling of the body, inflammation, and conditions that are included in high ferritin and not limited to are liver disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and hyperthyroidism. Some supplements I would recommend to help with high ferritin is green tea, turmeric, and avoid iron and vitamin C. So great question on ferritin. Best placement to put the laser lights, duration, etc. So best placement is approximately 2 to 3 inches away. So you can put it on the skin. The problem is when you realistically, not everybody is showing skin in a doctor's office. So that said, it's about 2 to 3 inches away from the skin. What was the question again?
The best placement and the duration.
Best placement. The duration is going to really depend on the laser that you use. So the one that you'll have to use for the longest duration of time, because it has the least efficacy, though great efficacy with FDA clearances, would be the Accelerate. So that would be about 4 minutes per area. Whereas the EVRL has much more electromagnetic transfer of energy. You would use per frequency, duration of time, 3 minutes. And the GVL, my favorite, all day, every day, as we said, you would do it for about 2 minutes. I have what I like to refer to in all my lectures. And if you guys want me to do a live on laser, I'm happy to do it. Let me know. Do you want me to do a live just on laser, where I'm actually not only going to talk about it, but I'll actually do a few protocols. So put that in the chat box. Let me see that. And if that's the case, we'll do a special one. And if you want, I may even do it in the laser group. I have what I call 3 phases of care, different phases of treatment: acute phase, subacute, and chronic and performance phase. That's interesting in that I have different timings for that, and I can share that all with you. There was a 4th question. This is great. Weigh in on the great debate. Eggs, yes or no? Well, what do you guys say? Eggs, yes or no? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I not only say eggs, yes, I say eggs are a superfood. Double thumbs up for eggs. I don't know where these people got this. I don't know what their problem is. The data is robust backing up eggs. It is without question, as I said before, our superfood. It's got protein and, yes, egg whites with egg yolks. Wait a minute, Dr. Rob. The yolk has cholesterol. That's correct. Who said cholesterol is bad? The yolk has both good cholesterol, HDL, and LDL in equal amount. No research study has shown eggs are detrimental to one's health as long as they were not consumed with sugar and you had raised inflammation. It's a complete protein. The yolk is vital. It has choline, it has lutein, it has folate, it has B vitamins. Everything's there, and everybody knows what that yolk ultimately becomes. The egg white is very valid and important. It is protein as well. It is a complete protein. It's a great starting point. The problem with eggs for many people is it's a very high food allergy and food sensitivity food, and people don't realize that. And by the way, I know you all know this. Many times in my office, people have asked the question, you mean if I can't eat dairy, I can't eat eggs? No, that's not correct, because eggs come from the chicken. As we know, they just happen to be sold in the dairy section of the supermarket. So therefore, yes, even though I take dairy away, you can have eggs unless you're allergic or sensitive to it. They are a superfood. I did a exhaustive research analysis on it just to double check, and there is no qualified data to it. And that really leads to the question of cholesterol, which we went into it a couple of weeks ago. I don't want to do it again. So I'm looking to see if anybody had any other questions. Eggs, yes. So let's see. I'm going to go through this on my own. Let me play with my toggle over here. So, Fort Lauderdale, Bismarck, North Dakota, fabulous. How will the light help my hip replacements? Great question. So I have a post-surgical joint replacement protocol. Now, it's specific to the fact that Erchonia has a non-thermal low-level laser, so a hot laser would be good for a joint replacement. This would be, so there are protocols. It would allow the whole area around the joint replacement to decrease in inflammation and also produce better muscle efficiency because of the impact on the ATP and the mitochondria. Can someone buy these? Yes, Diane, you can. Feel free to reach out to us. You can do that right here, and we will connect you with who you need. We will definitely do a live on laser. Yes, live on laser would be great. Yes, live laser. Eggs, yes. Somebody else said yes, unless allergic. Great. Option on wine. Are you serious? Well, I don't drink, so that doesn't mean I'm anti-wine. I know. I hear it all the time. I want to have an alcoholic beverage because wine has resveratrol. Okay, you need 85 glasses of resveratrol. God bless you if you can consume it. Then don't all try and drink it now and wait till the next live to let me know about it. You know, when you wake up from your coma, give me a call. So you really need to drink a lot of wine. I'm not going to take wine away. I did that. Remember I talked about DNA? No dairy, no nicotine, no artificial sweeteners. The A used to be alcohol, excuse me. And you know what happened was I took the alcohol away and the patient never came back. So I gave up on that. I would definitely limit the amount of alcohol you have. A glass of wine, if you're going to have it, makes sense. Not a bottle and certainly not a carafe, I think they're called. So I would avoid that. And of course, you don't have to explain to me if you become my patient that you drink wine socially, because the first question I'm going to ask is, how social are you? Are you social every day? Or are you social once a week or once a month? So wine has its place because you enjoy it and it's relaxing for you, but don't tell me about the nutrients in wine if you can. Yes, live, a lot of laser lives. EVRL acne treatment, how long should it be used? Do you need to move it around on the affected area? Can you keep it stationary? Really good question. EVR treatment, acne treatment, 8 minutes. I would cover the surface area. So if it's the surface area is like this, I would cover it. You can keep it stationary. You do not have to move the laser. I do prefer to move the laser. I'm working with a friend, head tremor recommendations, protocol and frequency. You know, Roxana, could you do me a favor? Could you put that on my laser group? Because that's a little more involved than I want to get on a Facebook Live. Somebody asked me about monk fruit. Great question to turn the page, new chapter. I'm a big proponent of monk fruit, Lohan Gao. I think monk fruit is a great choice. It has no effect on the glycemic index. The only problem with monk fruit is you can't cook with monk fruit. However, it's a great add to somebody's coffee, any kind of sweetening. Some people like the water sweet, if you will. Really good choice. I like stevia. Stevia does have some medicinal effects. Stevia has some really good effects. Good for coffee, good for Lyme disease. I think the artificial sweetener of the here and now, big call out to my big friend Dan, thank you very much, is, how do you know, RX sugar. So if anybody's interested, we will put an affiliate code where you can get the RX sugar. They do a great job. It's allulose. Allulose is now, it's not an artificial sweetener. It's actually a raw sugar. It's a very rare sugar. It's 70% of the sweetness with sugar, but it has no effect on the glycemic index. There are vitamins that are coming. We've got chocolates in the office with it in. We've got an organic chocolate. So RX sugar is the choice. So if you guys want more information or you want a live on artificial sweeteners, please let me know. Before I go, got a couple of minutes left. Let me know what you want me to talk about. So obviously we're going to do something with laser. I may even pick one of my other speaking docs and get them on the live with me so we can have a little back and forth. And maybe I'll get the individual to do a protocol and I'll do a protocol. Which frequency is good for headaches on the EVRL? Give me a second because I don't have access to what I do. Let me write that down. I will put that on my laser group, okay? I will add that on my laser group. I can't remember the frequency offhand, so I'll add headache frequency. So I hope you're a member, Dr. Khan, of my laser group. Diana, she said, I thought allulose was not good. No, the research on it is outstanding. A lot of good research. Again, we could do a whole live on allulose. Without question, allulose is backed by a lot of good data. Again, monk fruit I'm happy with. Stevia is good. Allulose is the next generation of what's going on and where to be. IgG4. So that's Instagram. They just said IgG4. Okay. I think what somebody means is IgG 1 through 4 for food sensitivities. So as we all know, IgG is an antibody. It's the smallest antibody. It's so small it passes the placenta and gets to the fetus. I'm pointing because somebody here is pregnant. And it's the most popular antibody. It's 75% of all the antibodies. There's IgE, there's IgM, and there's IgG. So IgG is the most popular one. There's what most people didn't realize, that IgG had 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's got these little sub numbers, if you will. And it's critical if you're going to do an accurate food sensitivity like KBMO Diagnostics does. They do a food sensitivity based on IgG 1 through 4. The reason is it's the full complement of IgGs to see if you're producing antibodies. And in addition to that, you also have IgG3, which allows you to test for the complement cascade, which is an innate part of the innate immune system. And it allows you to test something called C3d, which is the most stable complementary inflammatory molecule. So in essence, what I'm saying in layman's terms is it allows you to test for your adaptive immune system, your antibodies, and also test for inflammation. So it's a dual purpose technology to see if you elevate 2 parts of your immune system, which allows it to be the standard bearer in accuracy for other tests that don't test both the innate and the adaptive immune system. What's up, Doc? What's your position on xylitol as a sweetener? Well, if you want to take xylitol, you can always have the option of blowing it out the back. Not a big xylitol fan. I think we should limit our consumption of xylitol. Splenda. Are you kidding me, Carissa? Come on. Bobby from the Bronx is going to pop out. We're trying to hold them all in and everything like that. Splenda is a no bueno, malissimo. It's not healthy. It's a horrible artificial sweetener. So if you have it, please avoid it. It is such because it increases your incidence of leaky gut, leaky blood-brain barrier. It's been shown versus just sugar, which we know is deleterious. versus just sugar to increase your incidence of stroke and dementia by 2 to 3 times. It affects your microbiome, your key ecosystem. 80% of immune cells are in your gut. You guys all know that already. If it's made by man, don't eat it or take it. Yeah, that's exactly a rendition of Jack LaLanne's. If man makes it, I won't eat it. If God gives it, it's a gift. Fabulous. So again, if you guys let me know, guys and gals, let me know what you'd like me to talk about. I'm going to be back every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. That's 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll announce when we're going to do a special Facebook Live for the laser. And we got one more. Would you recommend vitamin D 10,000 units with K2 as a maintenance daily dose? That's a really good question because we don't speak about dosage enough. And when it comes to vitamin D, obviously you meant vitamin D3, I'm sure. My concern with vitamin D is that a lot of people just give it and they don't test for it. We're big on testers here. We like to test for vitamin D levels. So the typical dosage is about, maintenance dose is probably about 5,000 IUs with K2. But, you may be maintaining, if you have 90 to 100, you may only need 2,000 IUs. I need 5,000 IUs just to maintain in the 60s. So if I went to 10,000, I'd be 80 to 100, which is good. So right now, a generic answer, I see it populating, is 5,000 IUs with D3 with K2. Sacred Neutral, hi. How do you send a question to Dr. Rob? You just did. Just write it in there and go. If you want to send a question, just DM me. We'll work on it. Check vitamin D levels, especially before giving 10,000. Yes, I think 10,000 is robust, but there are people that need it. But I don't know that 10,000 is going to be what we need for somebody with 60 to 80, which is the optimum. You're welcome. Okay, we'll let a couple more pop in. See if it's populated. We're waiting for Sacred Neutral to come in, and we'll see. Guys, give me a thumbs up. Give me a shake on TikTok, Instagram. Do whatever it is that you need to do. We're here for you. I'm getting thumbs up. I'm getting thanks. That's great. All right. It's been my pleasure. It's been a great time. Again, let me know. You'll probably see it Memorex. Share with me Memorex. I'm Dr. Rob Silverman. Always yours in health.